Ma'am, you're having internet issues. Yes, you're audible now. You're audible.
Yeah, am I audible? Would you
Yes,
prefer
Yes,
you are.
ma'am,
I
you are
put on the
audible.
headphones or is it okay?
No, you can use the
Um,
headphone. Other the
yes, ma'am,
voice
you
is
can use the
echoing.
headphone. Yeah.
Okay.
Ma'am, also the camera is kind of off focus, I think, because
You
I
can't
mean,
see me.
ma'am, we can see you, but the picture is not coming in full. We can see you half.
Is it
That's
okay? Is it better now?
yes, yes, it's better now.
Okay. Let me just put the microphone just 1 second. I thought I'll speak without it, but then one moment. Can you hear me now? Is it better?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Perfectly clear. So, can we begin now, sir?
Yeah. Let's begin. So, are the students in?
First, our respected head of the institute will start with a short welcome note. After
Okay.
that, I'll formally introduce you to all our audience present here. And ma'am,
Okay.
then you can proceed with the session. So I
Sure.
would now request Professor Siddharthananda, sir, head of the Institute of IMT Institute of Travel and Tourism, Kolkata, to kindly begin with the welcome note.
Hello, sir.
Thank you
Good
so much,
afternoon.
Professor Vandita. Welcome, ma'am. It's an honor to have you for today's session. And in
Thank you so
fact, out of so much a busy schedule, you took time to address our students. Not only students, even faculty members are present. We're
much. Thank
extremely
you.
keen to listen to your valuable inputs and not consume much time. Again,
No,
on
no, I
behalf of
have time. Don't worry. It's always
thank you so much.
pleasure to, meet and talk to people. We
True,
are
true.
into that trade where,
Yes.
it is always a pleasure. Like we look forward to meeting and doing networking and enjoying our talks. But anyway, you can go ahead. I'm so sorry to,
No, no, ma'am. It's
smudge it.
absolutely fine. So it's a pleasure and honor to have among with us Ms. Sunaina Chatterjee, CEO of Incentives and Conferences Planners, LLP Kolkata. And today's topic is extremely interesting from for me as well, prospects of corporate travel and business events post COVID-19. I'm sure all of us will learn a lot from it. I'll not consume much time. I would straightforward like to request Professor Vandita to please introduce the guest speaker, and I would request ma'am to the henceforth address the participants. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much,
so
ma'am,
much.
for joining. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much, sir. So once again, a very good afternoon to everyone present here. It is our immense pleasure to introduce our esteemed speaker for the day, Ms. Sunaina Chatterjee, CEO, Incentives and Conferences Planners, LLP, Kolkata. Ms. Sunaina Chatterjee has proven executive management track record and over 20 years of experience driving sales and creation of new divisions and niche markets in the travel and MICE industry. Prior to her role as CEO, she was the Vice President MICE in CIM Global, where under her leadership the All Indian Incentives House was developed. She was a key player in making the brand CME Direct for continuing medical education for doctors and their associations. Ms. Sunaina has also served as the Vice President of Victoria Travels Private Limited, Kolkata, wherein she was responsible in complete makeover of the travel agency to a leader's MICE agencies in eastern part of India. And under the able leadership of Ms. Sunaina, Icon Planners has been awarded thrice as the best MICE operator from East. We welcome you, ma'am, once again, and we request you to kindly proceed with the session.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, Vandita, for such kind words and a beautiful introduction of me as well as my organization. I'm really thankful to the institute, both of you, and all to the students as well, that you've given me this opportunity to address the students and also do the interaction with them. So I would like, since all the students are here, so as everyone said is here, so I would like to tell a little bit about incentives and conference planners. It was, I would say, the inception was 2010, and it was like three of us, we decided that now we've been working into the travel profession for a long time, and it is time that we should become entrepreneur. And since that day, And I should say that it was more than our decision, it is our clients who wanted us to have our own agency. So it was a very big thing for us, wherein, generally people say that they first make the agency and then they search for the client. But for us, we were really thankful to those clients who really wanted us to have our own agency. So that is how we started. And in fact, we started with an international trip itself, which was to Beijing. So again, that was, I would say that when we were talking about, and it was a corporate from Bangalore. So for us, the start with an international trip in the first month itself did give us a big boost. And since then, we kept on doing, and we did a lot of conferences. We did huge incentive movements, which I would be speaking and giving the kids the example of the various groups that we have handled and what would be what could have been the challenges there. I would just like to share the experience so that you know what happens actually in the travel trade. It is not always a very glossy picture that we see. Of course, there is a lot of glamour associated with it, but apart from that, there is a lot and a lot of hard work. So first, I would like to have a look at the students, if it is possible, if everyone can say one by one their name and just a one line. Is it possible, Vandita? So that I can at least
Yes,
see
ma'am,
my
absolutely.
audience.
Yes, absolutely. Students, please turn on your camera. You may please introduce yourselves to Sunaina ma'am. So, final year students can begin. I hope all of you are here. Final year students, after that, we have our post-graduation students. Please turn on your cameras and introduce yourselves to Sunaina ma'am. Yes, I hope I'm audible to everyone.
I think since they're attendees, if I
Okay.
think switch on their mic and video, yes. You can just
All
react.
right. I'll just take a minute of your time, ma'am. I
No
will give
problem.
them the
I am
access.
my whole evening is for you. Don't worry.
Thank you so much. Just a moment.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Take your time. No issues.
So while we are giving you the access, I would ask the students once again to be ready to switch on your cameras, your mic, and introduce yourselves to Sunaina ma'am. Yes, so you have been given the access. Now I think all of you can switch on your camera and mic. Please do so. Yes.
If it's a problem, then it's not a issue
No,
for
no,
me.
it's fine. I can see a few students, they have already switched on their cameras. You may please start introducing yourselves one by one. Yes, Aniket, I just saw Aniket. Aniket, please introduce yourselves. Yeah,
Good afternoon, Aniket. I can't hear you. I think his mic is mute.
yeah, please mute. Yeah.
Unmute. I think his microphone was on mute.
Okay, what about others? Debalina, Preeti, you can please unmute yourself and introduce. Okay, our master's second year's, I'm sorry, master's first year student, you can, okay, Vinayak has raised his hand. You can straight away introduce yourself, students. No need to raise hands and all that. Please go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. A very good afternoon, ma'am. Thank you for. Sorry, I am Vinayak Sureka from BATA third year. Ma'am,
Hi,
we have
Vinay.
been really looking forward for your session, and thank you so much for uh, being here, ma'am. Just and
My
listening
pleasure.
to your introduction, I was really shocked that we actually got an opportunity to listen to someone with such an amazing and rich background. So, ma'am, thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much, Vinay.
Okay. So after Vinayak, do we have anybody else? Yes, please go ahead. No one else from our bachelor's final year. You can
Mhm.
please come up and introduce yourself. Okay, I think there is some internet issues because I can see few of the students, they were switching on their cameras, but somehow they are not able to speak. I don't know why. So is there anyone who, yes, I can see another hand. Yes, Debelina, please go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. A very good afternoon to respected ma'am and also ma'am Sunaina ma'am. It is a great honor. I'm Debolina Mustafi. I'm from final year of BATA. Ma'am, actually, after
Hi,
listening to
Debolina.
your introduction, yes, ma'am. Ma'am, after listening to your introduction, I'm really excited because right now I got so much inspired. Like you being a woman, you achieved so many things, and I guess all the other women also present here are very much inspired by you. So, ma'am, I'm looking forward to learn from you, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am, for coming.
Pleasure. Pleasure, dear.
Okay. I think, ma'am, on that note, we can
Okay.
proceed with your presentation. I'm sure students will have a lot of questions to ask you once
Yes. Yes, yes,
it
yes,
is
yes.
done. Yeah, okay. So students, be ready with your questions. We'll do that at the end of the
Yes,
session.
towards the end we'll do. So what is basically we are going to talk what would be the prospects of corporate event and business events post COVID. I do understand that last 2 years have been really bad and very harsh, especially on the travel trade. And it was like one point of time where everything looked very gloomy, and it was thought that probably now the travel agencies and that event industry will not work for a long time, but things are not like that as we see. Of course, there has been changes, and I would broadly speak about that. I had just put some notes in my phone, so I'll keep looking at the phone so that I can talk to you all. See, the first of all, let us talk about the trends which are going to happen post COVID. There are basically 4 points on which I would be talking, and something more is as we all know that there will definitely be the virtualization of work, which means that it I won't say it's complete virtualization of work, but it would be a hybrid. Like there would be some virtual work as well as there would be physical till the time we come back to the normal. Now, that is quite uncertain when completely we all will be free of this COVID and it will be all physical, where we all would be attending physical offices in the full force and also work. But definitely, it is not like that it will not happen. It will happen, but it will be a phase. Let's say if I talk about my organization, when last year, I would say for my personal experience, when in 2020, COVID hit, and we had just finished a very big group, a very big incentive moment of around 350 people. They had gone to Dubai, and it was a very successful trip, and it was done from a Bangalore IT firm. We did it for them, and it was a very successful trip. And we were having a 700 people's movement in the month of March end. And with the COVID thing happening and there was a lockdown, it was like the plans were postponed. And even I thought, honestly speaking, even I thought that, it's just a flu like the other normal flu, and it's going to go away in a month or so. And again, we will be back and we'll resume the offices in July, August, and things would be normal. But COVID was something new for all of us, and we never anticipated that it is going to go so far, and it is going to impact everyone's life so much. And but as we say, we learn from our experiences. The most important thing during the COVID thing was the resilience. See, there are people, I know a lot of friends in the travel trade, they have shut down offices, and they have moved to different other sector, business, trading, and everything. But I would say people who stood there for almost 2 years, struggling to meet ends, struggling to get some portion of business if possible, they are going to stay back. And they have proved that, they could face any situation that can come. So, and now with the things improving, and with the kind of support that we have got from the clients, and also from our own networking of the same travel fraternity, also the institutes like Amity and few other institutes who have really, want to give this positive feeling, positive feedback to everyone who's around, that things are not that gloomy, it's going to change. So main, as I said, that the physical events which could used to be very huge, initially the trend would be they would be downsized. Let's say when we started, even the marriages were like 50, then it was raised to 100, then 250. But there are still some part of the country where the guest count is still 50 to 100. So now that is how we are trying to control the COVID as a situation. Definitely it would be huge, but the coming back to those number will take some time. It will be, I don't want to tell you a false story that's saying that, come next June, July, and the exhibitions or the big conferences or the incentive moments will be as big as it used to be. No, there are two different things which is involved in this. Number one is that because the COVID needs to be controlled, the numbers are reduced. This is one of the most important thing why the numbers would be reduced in all meetings, incentives, conferences. This is number one. Number two, when we talk about incentives, incentives are generally given on the performance. But we know that last 2 years, apart from one or two trades, even other trades have suffered a lot of loss. So what happens is incentives is basically you've done well, and the company gives you sometimes cash reward, sometimes in the form of travel to other part of the country or travel internationally. These are the incentive moments. But what used to be like, if there were people like 200 to 300, they might be cut down to, let's say, 100, 150. That is what downsizing will be. That would be currently for some time in the next financial year, what we are expecting that is going to happen. These are the two main big factors which would be controlling the numbers for the next season when we start. But the good thing I should say is that this is an anticipation. This is an anticipation. Why I'm saying is because we never know, and what we are anticipating is that when it opens up, it would be a huge boom for the travel industry and the hospitality industry. Because what is happening is for 2 years, people were confined into their rooms. They were confined into their living rooms or bedrooms, work from home, and they have not traveled. But the moment the travel open up, they want to go out. They want to breathe there. They want to see. They want to feel. I will tell you my personal example. It might sound funny, but my last trip was 2019 December. I had gone to a conference. It was an international diabetic forum, which was happening in South Korea. And after that, we had done a detour to Japan. So December was my last travel with the this conference, and we did the logistic and also the conference part and all that. That was my last travel. After that, January, I did not travel. I traveled within India to meet people and handling the conference, but not internationally. Now, coming my travel, I started my travel 10 days back. I was invited by international forum of, it was called IMWF, International Mice and Wedding Forum, which takes place every year in Turkey in a place called Antalya. What had happened is like past 3 4 years till 2019 they've been inviting us, and I was like, I was on tours or happening something, but I was not able to travel with them. Of course somebody from my office had participated there, but I didn't travel. They wanted me to travel. Now what happened is like, when I got this invite and I was contemplating that whether I should go or not, then I decided, okay, let me go. And it is a good time that we meet and come across my travel fraternity. The funniest thing I would say, when I got the my boarding card, it is so funny. I've been traveling all over the world for so many years, like starting from, I think, as old as 2000. Like in 2000 was my first travel, international travel. And when I got my boarding card, for some time I was looking at the boarding card and I was trying to figure out where is the seat number written. It is really very funny. If I tell you, you would also laugh. I know I myself is laughing. But you can understand what happens is when you have a gap of 2 years and you are traveling on an international flight, and it took me for a moment to understand where is the seat number written. But what happens is when you actually then get into that groove, it didn't take, it just clicks, and then you are into that groove, you're traveling. I went to that place. I would like to show you a video of that once my first part is finished. So what I was telling is that the travel has begun when I met people all, because this was an international forum where the delegates as well as the exhibitors were coming from all over the world. When I met them, I saw that first thing was that all of us were in the same boat, which means that the effects what were there in India, the same kind of effects were there in Australia, in Moscow, in Italy, in Turkey, in Germany. You name, you name the country, and everybody were on the same boat. We were all on the same boat. But the best thing is that we really stood beside each other, and we were trying to comfort each other and telling that the things would change. And that was one of the things which really helped all of us to have that faith again back into ourselves, that yes, now is the time, now is the time we have to prepare. uh, let me tell you one more thing is like, what happens is during this period, a lot of people ask, what did you do? And I had only one answer to them that I was learning. What happened is that when we are in working day in, day night, and during the day, during the night, and we really don't get time to upgrade our own selves as far as the reading is concerned. Let me tell you all to all of you, please read as much as you can. There is no substitute than reading. There is absolutely no substitute. I think someone's microphone is on. Hello? Vandana, can you hear me? There is a noise.
Yes, I
Yeah,
should request everyone to please mute your respective microphones.
yeah, now that's better. Okay. So before moving on to the next one, I would just like to show you one video just for you people to see, have a feel good factor. Just one moment. Is it audible?
Ma'am, the video is not audible. It is still not audible, ma'am.
Okay. So back to you all. See, this was this was the forum which I attended, but obviously this was an old video just to give you a kind of insight into how big this forum is and how many international speakers and faculty coming over and the kind of hotels they use. So this was just for you to have a feel good factor, because I know if I keep on talking and without any visuals, it might sound a bit boring. So this was the place where I went, and honestly speaking, when I went there, they had such good sessions, and we attended one of the days where the sessions where the motivational speakers were there, who talked about resilience, who talked about time blocking, who talked about how to develop the environmental friendly options. These were the things which were discussed. In a normal time, we really don't get time to think about all these things, that how much is the carbon waste that we do during all these conferences and all these meetings or incentives. We generally don't use a eco-friendly option, but with the COVID thing happening, now all the entire travel industry is looking into that aspect also, wherein in most of the groups or the hotels or the programs, you would see that there would be eco-friendly options. Again, I know with that there would be less of printing and more of digital working would be more, looking at the current scenario. Like earlier, we used to have a lot of printed material, but this is all going to go downsize. I won't say that, it will affect the work of a printer. Of course, if you talk about quantity, it will definitely reduce. But if you talk about quality, it will definitely improve. Because earlier what we used to give like 4 or 5 or 10 inserts into a conference bag which talked about 100 things. Now probably there would be one disk or a floppy or a stick, a pen drive, which will have everything into it, or maybe one glossy picture insert just to give a visual effect. So this is what is going to be a change post COVID when we talk about conference. So let's take us both the things separately so that you don't get confused. I would take the conferences part separately. In the MICE, when we are talking about MICE, as we all know, MICE stands for meeting, incentives, conference, and exhibition or events. These are the 4 things. So when I am talking as of now first for the meetings and the conferences. So what will happen in the future business? One is, as I said, that there would be the numbers, it would be downsized. It won't be a very huge gathering, but it would be a small gathering, which would be quality wise much better than what we have been doing over the years, because now it would be only the serious players who would be there as an exhibitor. There would be serious players who would be there as a buyers, because the we are going to cut the people who used to just come in and visit and not add value to that conference. So that would be cut due to COVID, as well as also because of the restrictions financial wise, right? So let's say, for an example, I say that if a stall was booked in, let's say, per stall a size of 3 by 3, which used to be 2 lakhs per stall, and lot of other people used to buy where they had money and they didn't even know what to do just attending that conference, because they just wanted to showcase their brand, and they used to just take a conference and then litter around. Those things are not going to happen. Probably what will happen is the organizers might increase the cost of that stall from 2 lakh to 5 lakhs, so that only serious players attend that. What will happen then? What happens is, if there were 100 stalls, now there could be 50 stalls. But you can understand, with the 50 stalls, the quality would definitely improve when we talk about conference. In the conference, again, the things would be there. There would be protocols which will be maintained, the COVID protocols which are going to stay. And in fact, we are member of ICPB also, Indian Convention and Promotion Bureau, which is an organization very close to the government of India. And all the members are government recognized agencies. Tour operators are there. Then the exhibition experts are there. Exhibition agencies are there. And also the PCOs, the professional conference organizers, are a part of that. So what had government done was, they had given us time, and also they want us as an industry to prepare a document which would say that what would be the protocols that should be maintained while having a conference or an exhibition or a meeting. So all the industry experts, they prepared a document, and that was shared with the ministry, and with a little bit of amendments here and there, that was established. And now that the same protocol has to be maintained by all the agencies across India. As of now, I'm talking about India, because this was framed for the exhibition and the conferences happening in India, because obviously we cannot control or rule the other countries, whatever their protocols are. So there definitely would be one protocol which has to be taken care by all the organizers, and there would be strict monitoring from the government side as well as from the organizer side also, that these protocols to be maintained. So when we talk about conferences, which means one is the downsizing of the conference, then quality improvement of the conference, and third, the COVID protocols. These are the three trends which are going to be there post COVID when we talk about meetings and conferences. And then we come to incentives. Okay, let me share a very interesting discussion about when we were talking about conference. When we talk about conference, we all understand that conference is a very kind of white collar job, and wherein we get up in the morning and we are dressed up and we go to the conference. So let me or me bring you all to the actual the picture area, where as a agency, when you're working under a PCO or you're working under a conference management team, you will see the the worst nightmare that can happen is when your production team is there on site and you don't see that all those carpenters and all those people who are into the production, they are not able to finish the work on time. So that is one of the nightmares that we generally face. And one of my worst scenario was when I was doing a science conference in Science City, and next day we had our PM who was supposed to inaugurate the conference, and we saw in the night after the conference was made and the exhibition area was made, the entire area was littered, and there were absolutely it was messy. And I think it was 4 in the morning when I had gone to pay a visit and just to see the exhibition area, and it was so damn dirty. And with the management in Science City area, it is like all controlled by the what you call their union leaders, and they have one particular time when the sweepers would come. So trust me, at 4 o'clock in the night, our team members were all had to, fetch sweepers from wherever they could get, buy them brooms, and those people had to clean that area before the PM could come. So that was one of my very nightmares, because we had to clean everything and it had to be a red carpet welcome. And since it was Science Congress, so there were so many dignitaries were coming all across the globe. So there are challenges. There are challenges when we talk about conference. Sometimes it happens. Like I would tell another very interesting session, a debate which just recently happened in Turkey. What had happened is, like, they had debate in which there were 5 people from the wedding planners and there were 5 people sitting on the other side with the mice agent sitting, and like both of them were fighting between each other whose work is easy and whose work is difficult. The wedding planners said that the incentive groups are very easy to handle, and similarly the mice agents were saying that no, the wedding planning is easier. So I would say a very nice thing which was said by one of the wedding planners was said that they said that we are handling the emotions of the family. So it is not only planning the event, it is also handling emotion of that family, of the bride, of the groom, their parents, their relatives, everyone. Of course, we understand that in an incentive moment, it is we have to take care of the the brand or the company, their objective of the meeting, objective of the incentive. We have to take care, and yes, sentiments of the performers or the award winners is there, but not the kind of emotions that the wedding planners were handling. We completely understand that. But having said that, when wedding planners were saying that it is easy, the job of conference organizers, so it was something which was not acceptable to the this side of the people, the mice agents. So, but then they didn't have any solid answer to them. So I raised one question and I said it is my personal experience. I have one question to my wedding planners friends. What will you do if you have 25,000 delegates attending one national conference and 2 hours before the conference is supposed to begin, your registration links gets expired or it's not working? What will you do? So, of course, they didn't have any answer. They said, you must have worked out the plan B. I said, yes, we have. But I just told them, see, for a wedding planner, it is like somebody has ordered red flowers, red roses. And probably a situation might come wherein you are not having the red flowers, but you have yellow flowers. The marriage will still be on. But think about a condition where you have 25,000 people and who had to register and the conference is about to begin and you don't have the registration link working. It can happen. So there are such situations which a mice agent has to, face, and we did face such situations. But then, of course, we had plan B, which worked out, and we have to take that kind of tensions. It is not an easy job, let me tell you. It is never an easy job. No job is easy. But what happens is like how you come out of those contingencies, it is what defines you. So I would always say that it is always better to have a cool head and anticipate as much negative things as we can before the conference or a meeting or a program or an incentive can happen. Anticipate those things, and you would have at least a peaceful evening or a peaceful conference, because if this thing doesn't work, we have a plan B. If plan B doesn't work, we have a plan C. If plan C doesn't work, we have a plan D. So you should always have, if it doesn't work next, instead of having those panic attacks. And let me tell you, if you can be there at the time of contingency rather than running away from there, you will always be remembered for that. So never run away from a contingency. When you have a problem, never run away from the problem, because that is not what defines you. Please face the problem head on. It can be anything. Try to solve them. That would I would always recommend my students or my audience that, okay, let's do things like that. And before I move to the next segment, that is incentive, is there any questions, Vandita? If students want to ask any question regarding the conference portion or the meeting portion, they can ask.
Yes.
Otherwise, again, it will get all mixed up.
I hope I'm audible to you, Sunaina ma'am.
Yeah. Yes,
there
audible.
There are a few questions from the end of the students.
Yeah.
I just got them on a text. So
Okay.
I think there is an issue with the students. They are not able to switch on their camera. The mic is not working, because I tried to, change the settings and all, but it's still not working out. So one question is there.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when we look at the post-COVID scenario, what are the specific skill sets my organization would look for while hiring an employee? Specific skill sets, especially with regard to the post-COVID-19 scenario, which were not that important earlier, but important right now. So our students want to know about this.
Okay. See, post-COVID situation, the first thing would be challenge would be like the salaries. Of course, downsizing of what they used to get as a initial when they're joining as on their OJT, or just a new entrant, the kind of packages that were given for pre-COVID area, that is not going to be there for at least, I should say, next 2 years. Because as you are aware that because all these agencies who have been there, who they are struggling to meet their ends, when the work start, they have to first clear the backlog. Even most of, like I would say, 99% of the travel agency, tour operator, conference management companies, everyone has been working on that, maybe 20% cut, somewhere there is a 30% cut, somewhere there is a 50% cut on the salaries, and downsizing of the manpower also. So this is one of the things which would be a challenge. So when the next time when the people are hiring, they would always look into the people who are, number one, who are skilled in the sense who are good at computers, who are good at working on a digital platform. They're nicely, they can give time. People who are innovative, okay, and people who can work in a hybrid manner, in a hybrid form of a meeting or a conference, and of course who knows the trade. Earlier what used to be there, I will tell you, like there were people in the trade, they used to hire, sometimes it has happened just from any trade, they used to hire because bande chahiye, how you say, bande chahiye, hame kaam karana hai. This is not going to happen now post COVID. You have to have skilled people, because now since the manpower will be less, so they will expect people coming from the proper institutes, who know the work, who've been taught well, who understands it, because they would like to use the optimum resources which is available. So people who have skill set, who are well read, who understands it, and who can work in both hybrid form, they are the people who would be taken up by the forthcoming agencies. That's what is going to be there.
Right, ma'am. So here we can see that, as you were saying, the importance of a proper degree in this field becomes very crucial, because
Absolutely,
now the organizations would be very proper about whom they are hiring, whether they have the right
absolutely.
kind of qualifications, whether they have been trained on those things that the organizations would want them to have a solid, knowledge foundation on.
Right, right.
Yes, thank you so much, ma'am, for that very, detailed answer. There is another question from the end of another first other student,
Yeah,
Vinayak.
sure.
Yes, I can see your hand is raised. Please go ahead, Vinayak. You can
Yes,
also
ma'am.
switch your camera if you want to. You have the access.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, my only question would be, as you are from uh, as you are working and you have the experience, as you are there in the field, ma'am, I
Mm-hmm.
would just like to know how much pressure is the conference section uh, getting to reduce their carbon footprint? Because we all know that reducing carbon footprint is not a very easy task to do, and it requires a lot of resources also from
Right.
the countryside. Because if the country is not infrastructurally well developed, the the companies who are arranging conferences and etc., they do not have the access for proper green technology. So
Mm-hmm.
being in sorry
Yeah.
being in India, how much pressure does the conference events are facing now, and is it possible to tackle in the coming 5 years?
Okay. I would tell, first of all, is that it is important. And as we have drawn that protocol, or the sheet which will be binding for all the conference organizer, that is about reducing the cardboard footprint. Of course, in a country like ours, it will not be very easy to implement, but nevertheless, definitely once these the new code of conduct is implemented, it would be implemented strongly by both the facility as a convention center, as well as from the PCO, that the professional conference organizer, because both of them are responsible. Both of them are responsible. If a facility says that this is possible and this is not possible, no conference organizer can force the facility to do it. Right? Let's say, for example, we say that, they say that my exhibition center is very well connected, between my exhibition center and my hotel are very well connected. So stop giving transfer from the hotel to the exhibition center via one route. So what happens is, you are not using that the car or the coach, you are not using that fuel, you are not burning it, you are definitely reducing the carbon footprint. Again, when we talk about, when there used to be time when these exhibitors used to bring a lot of material from their own country, from the other part of the city, and once the conference were over, they used to dump in that and then go away. So again, that used to have a lot of wastage, and it used to have a lot of carbon footprint. But when we are talking about digitalization, it's going to definitely get reduced sizably. But as I said, whenever we implement a change, it is always done phase wise. We cannot think that it will change overnight. You talk to, I will tell, it is the people who are well read. It is the people who understand. I would still know such agencies, if you tell them what is a carbon footprint, they will not even know. So, educating them to understand that itself is a big task. But you can understand it from the point when we were talking about vaccination in a country with a 130 crore population. There were people who were educated, still they were not willing to take the vaccine. So you can understand that in such a big populated country, implementing something is difficult, but it is, I would always say, it is not impossible, because as we said, people who are coming to attend these conferences, they are educated people who are organizing these conferences, they are educated people, the facilities, they themselves are educated, and post COVID, they understand what can happen if we try to, play with the nature. So definitely it will be taken up very strongly by all the stakeholders of a conference. This is what I think.
Thank you so much, ma'am. There is another question, but that is related more towards incentives. So once we are done with the incentive section, then I can share the question. But one last question pertaining to your presentation till now, ma'am. Someone is asking that you mentioned a phrase called time blocking. I think it was, you were talking about the International Mice and Wedding Forum.
Yes.
You mentioned something called time blocking. So our students want to know what exactly it is.
I'll tell. I'll come to incentive part and I'll tell time blocking, because time blocking is a new concept which might not work from an Indian context, but that I will talk. I'll come when I'm talking about the incentive portion. So, and as I said yesterday when we were discussing, I said that I don't want to, go through a written presentation, because that becomes a little boring. So I have not deliberately kept any written, presentation. I thought, let's talk about how we go it. Is it okay? I hope I'm, able to make them understand what I'm talking.
Yes, ma'am. That's absolutely fine, ma'am. We are, really getting immersed and feeling so much engaged while you are talking about your experiences. So it's really a great learning experience for all of us.
Because I keep on talking and then suddenly I realize I don't know whether my audience is understanding or not. because what happens is when you're from the field, you talk more about the field. So that is what I want them to know also, because once you're in a field, things definitely change, and they change drastically. So I want them to get ready for that, and that is why I said that let me just ask you if it is making sense what I'm talking about or not. Okay, so now do we move to the next one, or any
Yes,
questions?
ma'am. We can move on to the next section.
Okay, I'll just take my note out what I had written. Another thing. Okay. Okay. So when we talk about incentives is, as we said, we understand incentive is basically sometimes a company giving an incentive to their employees. Sometimes it is association giving incentives to their members. Sometimes it's an incentive given by a parent company to their franchisee. So these are the incentives. Incentives, why is given? Incentives is always given to enhance the sales, or that sales drive, or sometimes these incentives are given as a motivation to do better in the coming let's say in coming financial year, or the next session. So these are the kind of things which we define in incentives. Now there are one more type of incentive is there. There is a company, let's say when I'm talking about medical incentives, it is like pharmaceutical companies. They give incentives to the doctors also to travel abroad for two situations. One, when they're just going for a leisure, which means they have helped the company grow, and they have been given an incentive where they're going for a vacation. This is one part. And then under the education policies of some of the pharmaceutical companies, where they take the doctors to attend the medical conferences. Now that is also a part of an incentive. They give this incentive to the doctors so that the doctors learn well attending these European or American conferences, where they enhance their own subject matter, and so that they can improvise on that. So this is also a kind of incentive movement which is happening. And I would say that our organization has a niche in that, wherein we are handling doctor conferences. And two types of conferences where we do. One is that organizing or doing the logistic part of taking such doctors to attend these international conferences. But another part of incentives, this is a part of incentive, but it works as an incentive come conference, wherein we create a conference in an international destination, and there are all the elements like registration, their travel, their sessions, the production in the conference hall. They attend the conference, and after the conference is over, they even go for sightseeing. So it has both the element. It has an element of conference, and it has an element of incentive trip also. So this is a combination of both. So we are expert in that. Lot of pharmaceutical companies we have worked, whose conferences we have created in different parts of the world. Some very unknown destination, like people have never heard of doing a conference in Romania. But we did a conference in 2019 in Romania also, where we created a conference for 350 people. So, and it was a very successful cardio conference for one of a very leading pharmaceutical company. So we've done such conferences in Moscow, in St. Petersburg, in Switzerland, in Germany, Australia. We have created that was a small conference in San Francisco also, because you can understand when people are traveling to America, it has a lot of cost involved. So there the group sizes are never big, they are small. We've even done a conference wherein we have taken them to Boston. They have we had created a conference, a study with the Harvard Medical College. I'm sure everybody has heard of the name of Harvard Medical College. And we had created a chapter with them, and these doctors had gone and attended that conference. And same thing we have done for a set of gynecologists, also a series for them in London, and they have attended such conferences. And apart from that, they did, enjoy that place also. They had their, it was a kind of a mix of leisure along with studies. So we have done such conference also. Now coming to uh, the only consent incentive, wherein it is an award ceremony. Our biggest one which we've done, and it was done in 2018, was a trip of 1450 people traveling to North Cyprus. I know this number is huge, 1450 people traveling to North Cyprus. There were a lot of new things in that. First of all, that was the biggest group that traveled on a charter flight. And second, that was the first group that ever landed into North Cyprus. First Indian group that landed into the North Cyprus. And again, so many people traveling together itself was a history. And the hotel was so big that everybody was accommodated, and they had a great time. But the way it was done, it was like back to back, three gala dinners were done, and with the huge setup, and as we say, with the performances and backdrop created like that, and the kind of the food. I would definitely like to add here is that in that group, although we were doing in a 7 star, they call it 7 star. I know there's nothing called 7 star, but in their country they call it a 7 star deluxe hotel. With when the hotel had around 21 swimming pools, you can understand that had a casino. They had 2100 rooms in that, with the mix of both suites and normal room, deluxe room, pool facing, mountain facing, all those kind of things were there. So it was such a huge property. In fact, their desert counter had around 150 kind of suites. But the condition of the corporate was that they wanted a complete, proper buffet, Indian buffet there. So now that was a challenge. One, a country like North Cyprus, where there was not even a single. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you're perfectly audible.
Okay. So in a place like North Cyprus, where there's not even a single Indian restaurant, so you can understand the challenge. Like, neither we can have the ingredients from there, nor we can have any staff from there, nor the people who are there, they can help us in our cooking. So we had to take a catering company's help. We had taken around 12 chefs from India, and they prepared every day's breakfast, lunch, dinner, apart from the complete buffet that was laid out by the hotel. It was an all-inclusive hotel wherein they could consume food at any time. There were 24 hours restaurants which were there. There was 24 hours liquor which was there. So that all-inclusive concept was not known to the people till then. Like, they knew, okay, they will go, they will have breakfast at this time, after that breakfast they have lunch this time, then they have dinner this time. But we understand, when such a big group travel, there are kids, probably they can't get up early in the morning to have the breakfast. They might want to have something around 12:30 by the time the lunch is not open. So there was a 24 hours restaurant wherein you can eat your burgers, french fries, pasta, pizza, everything there. They had a separate theme park for the kids to enjoy, and they had a separate section which was built a doll house. So You can leave your kids. There were nannies to take care of them. So this kind of an experience was pretty new to these people, and they really loved, because most of the time what happens is when the people travel with their kids in the award ceremony also, because the wife is allowed and then they pay for their kids, so they take kids also. So sometimes it becomes very challenging for us to create that kids corner, to create that spouse entertainment program. But since it was very well done with the hotel out there, so people really enjoyed that. So this was something which was a very detailed program. Now I'll tell you a challenge which I anticipated, which was not anticipated in earlier. I anticipated, because what happens is when you're taking a tour, everybody comes and asks, Madam, iske baad kya hoga? So I just was trying to anticipate ki what will happen if 1400 people come and ask us, ab iske baad kya hoga? So, so what we did it, that was again for the first time, we created an app only for this particular incentive moment, which was called a Star Award app. And everybody was a part of that. They could share their pictures. In fact, we had given some prizes also for the most liked or most shared picture, sharing it on the Instagram, getting the likes. And also we were sharing the information time and again, where to go, where is the lunch, where is the dinner, where is the high tea. We kept on doing that. But nevertheless, even after doing that, there were still people coming and asking you, Madam, iske baad kya hoga? So even we anticipated that, but such things happen. But of course, that was a great group, and it was a huge, and all the Indian media wrote. The entire Cyprus media came in. Their minister flew in, and they were so happy to see so many Indians there. And since it was a big thing, we got a very good writer from the entire travel industry, as well as from the people out there, and also from the corporate side. So that was the biggest group that we handled. But apart from that, there are groups which we've handled of 300, 400, 700, depending on the size of the incentive movement. We've done back-to-back groups in place like Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand. They have huge number of hotel rooms, so it is never difficult organizing incentive moments there. And also these are cost friendly destination. But when we talk about bigger groups in places like Paris, in places like Switzerland, in places like Germany, I won't say, because Germany has huge restaurants, and that's not a problem. But such places, when we did a big group to Belgrade. So such places which are offbeat destinations, when we are doing big groups, it becomes challenge. And again, making the Indians understand the importance of time, it is the biggest challenge in incentive moments, let me tell you. If you tell them one particular time, if you say 9 o'clock the bus will leave, somebody will come at 10 o'clock and saying, how can the bus leave without me? So there are such challenges which has to be faced. And what happens is, it is always the tour leader or the travel agent who has to get it becomes a punching bag, because international DMC, they always press upon the time key. Whatever time you give, my drivers are there, they can't wait, because there the regulations are very stringent. I'll tell you, first specifically for Europe, a driver cannot drive a coach more than 8 to 10 hours in a stretch, because he has a meter on his bus. So if somebody tracks it and a police comes and checks and it says that he's driven more than at 10 hours, he is given a ticket for 2,500 euros, which is a huge amount. So a driver where there will never work beyond time. It has happened wherein he says, if you do not get in next 5 minutes, I will leave with the empty coach, but I will not wait. So these are the challenges which becomes difficult. And what happens is, this has happened with us, that we've taken a very big group to Italy, and they had gone to see the Leaning Tower of Pisa. And what had happened is, although going up was not included because there was a huge queue and we knew that we can't reach back in time, 4 of them, they left and they queued on their own and they stood in the queue, and we were not able to find them in such a huge place. So it was very difficult. So we had to leave one tour leader back to bring them back in the train, because otherwise the bus would have left. So there are challenges both when we are talking about incentives as well as conferences, but incentive challenges are more because what happens is, when we are doing an incentive group internationally, we have to go by their rules, which is very difficult for us to make the Indians understand. Because sorry to say, but Indian travelers, it is my personal experience, they are the worst when it comes to time management, and the entire brunt comes onto the tour operator or the travel agent or the MICE operator. So it happens. Now coming to question of time blocking. See, time blocking is a concept. It is mostly used by um, Americans, because you can understand there what happens is they work on specific timing. They do not work on weekends. Okay, they work. Okay, if my office starts from 9 to 5, they'll work from 9 to 5, and after 5 they will not receive calls or they will not work. So what had happened is, when this particular session was taken by our American host, and she was telling it was basically more for the wedding planners, because wedding planners also has to work day in and day night, because something can crop up at any time. So what she was trying to say, that you divide your time and there should be a time block. And this is like they were saying that everyone's emergency is not our emergency. Now here we differ, because when we talk about Indian scenario, it is absolutely different, because here what happens is, if somebody calls you at, let's say, around 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, even at 10 o'clock, if you do not respond to the call, then the client goes forever. He says, he thinks that he's too rude and we will not work with them because वो phone ही नहीं उठाते, आप तो phone ही नहीं उठाते. See, a normal thing I'll tell you is for this travel also, what happens is, a person, he's like working for, let's say, leisure also. He's working whole day in his shop doing things, blah blah blah, and thing. He comes in the night, eats his food, and then he sits down, and then his family says, ki papa, let's go somewhere, and then he plans ki okay, and he picks up the phone and he calls up and say, Sunaina, मुझे वहां जाना है, बताना जरा कितना खर्चा आएगा, कैसे जाएंगे. So for me, I have to attend that call at 10 o'clock. But my counterparts sitting in US or in Europe, they have that this liberty that they say that please call me on Monday between 9 to 5 and I'll respond to your call. But if we in India we do that, we'll never get back that client. So in Indian context, this time blocking is a very difficult thing. If we can do it, definitely. What we can do is time blocking in the sense, what we can do is, if we can plan things very in a right way. Let's say we go when we are in my personal thing also, what I do is, when I come first into the office, I write in 5, 6, 7 points, like these are the things that needs to be done. Even if it is in my mind, I still write them. At the end of the day, I tick. Okay, these are the things done and which is not thing. So whatever is not done, I write next day again those at the top and the rest of the things at the bottom. So I know yesterday I have not done this and this I have to do. So that planning is very important. If we can plan, let's say we are supposed to call someone, we call them during the day, then we don't have to call that person in the night or late in the evening. So it is something like you're planning. But what happens is, as a planner, you can plan your portion well, but you cannot anticipate what is going to come from the customer. And I always understand, again, this is also important, not only the direct customer, sometimes even the corporate calls you at the night, because what happens is, they work late in the night time, they have their meetings, they have their sessions which elongate till 7, 7:30. Sometimes they sit with their team at 8, 8:30, and at the time also they call to know that these are the things which you have quoted. what is included, what is not included. There is a portion of ambiguity in this. So they would like to get those clarification done, and we have to be there. For us, it is something which is like, we can say that, okay, in a service industry, you cannot say no unless it is an emergency at your point. If you're in a doctor's place, or if you're in a hospital, if you're attending somebody's funeral, these are the only exceptions which is, understood by the other people in Indian context. Rest of the things are not considered as an emergency in India. So let's be very keep our minds open about this thing कि आपको client किसी भी वक्त phone कर सकता है. So it is better that, and you should be always happy. I'll tell you my personal experience when I started in Victoria. It was a long time back, and I was only a manager at that time, and I was handling one conference at that time. And what had happened is, this person, he's a senior man. He was a general manager of a pharmaceutical company, and he calls me at 3:30 in the night, and he says, "Sunaina, मुझे तुम्हारे साथ बैठ के room English में लानी है." And I was like, 3:30, sir? You want to do? Yes, yes, I want to do it. I said, okay, fine. I just went through the rooming list, and there was nothing wrong in the rooming list. But in his anticipation, he thought that he's given me a wrong rooming list, which was not the factor. But then I did it. And the next day morning, and I was talking to my boss, and I said, what's wrong with these people? They call up at 3:30 in the night just to discuss the rooming list. And my senior told me a very important thing, and which I still believe is that Sunaina, if somebody is calling you at 3:30 in the night, imagine the kind of tension he's going through. Nobody likes to, disturb you at the middle of the night until that person is in a problem. Similarly, when my phone is never switched off, my phone is open 24/7. And I tell all my clients, if you're traveling international, if you don't get through to any of my staff, please feel free to call me. You can call me anytime. If I'm in a flight, that is the only time when my phone is switched off. Or if I'm sick or in a hospital, it's switched off. Otherwise, you can call me anytime. Because I still believe if somebody is calling me at 4 o'clock in the night, in the morning, or 3 o'clock in the morning, which means the person needs you. And if you are not available at that time, that's the worst thing that can happen into that service industry, because then his faith on you goes for a toss, and you have to help him when he needs you. You don't have to help him when he doesn't need you. When he's enjoying, he's taking pictures, you don't need to call him. He will also not call you. But if he's stuck somewhere, his flight gets delayed or he's cancelled, you have to put him on a next flight, he's not getting the room, or somebody else has taken the room, those are the things, it happens, and you have to be there on time. So these are the things which is like, part and parcel of our industry. And we can never say that, okay, this is my time. There's nothing called my time. And when we are starting our career, then to absolutely it is not there. And I would, again, another thing I would say, when you are starting, probably when you go into OJT, on-job training with some of the company, please do not consider any work as small or is not as per our profile. I will tell my personal experience. I was the topper of my organization. I was topper. I was selected by TCI Mumbai. I went there and I was like very distinct. Okay, I'm a topper. I've been selected by TCI Mumbai. I'm doing my OJT. But first week, what I did, you can't even believe. They used to give me one piece at the time. There were documents, especially the URL pass, that needs to be, photocopied. So I had to do 7 days, first 7 days, only photocopy of those passes. So like I could have told ki, this is not my job. I'm a topper of my institute. I am not supposed to do all this thing. But no, there were days when I was given to do my training in the ticketing department, because they had different department and we had to do different training in different departments. Now the tickets are printed. At that time, you had to physically write tickets. And they were handling big inbound groups wherein 100 people used to travel. And the manager of that, he used to give me during lunchtime those 100 tickets to be handwritten. And I used to write it. And I've never complained, because I knew that is how I'm going to learn. By the end of my OGT, I completely knew each and every department. And each and every department liked me because I never threw a tantrum. I never said that I can't do it. I did it. Sometimes it was not possible for me to do. I took help of my seniors, but I did it. So I would always say, never think as work is small. It will always help you. Learn that. Even that, if you look at that, I learned the URL pass by just learning that, photocopy. From that photocopy. Because it is very clear when you go in Bombay and you're working in a Parsi company, they tell you, sorry, boss, we are not being paid to train you. You learn whatever you can learn. This is how the industry works. You will find very less people who will help you, talk to you nicely, do it. Most of the places, if you're going as a OJT, please keep your mind open that you might be snubbed at times, because they are also working under a lot of pressure and they don't have time to train. So unless you keep your eyes and ears open, try to learn things on your own, ask questions, take interest in getting into that, you will not develop your skills. So I think incentive portion, am I clear about it? And if we
Yes,
can have
ma'am.
questions.
Yes, ma'am. First of all, thank you for sharing those very, very engrossing and very informative real life case studies. And we enjoyed a lot listening to your journey in the industry, right from being an intern on an OGT to a CEO. So that was very engrossing, very, very enjoyable. Ma'am, we're really sorry because we would have loved to go on listening to you, but we need to
I'm
wrap
so
up
sorry,
this
I took
session.
more time.
Ma'am, that is absolutely
I'm sorry,
fine
I took
from
more
our
time.
end. Ma'am, you took a lot of time to telling us about the recent trends in the industry, then giving us a very, very clear idea regarding what all consists of incentive travel. And you have mentioned some important points like virtualization of work till the time we come back to the normal, the concept of hybrid work. And you also gave us a glimpse of the International Mice and Wedding Forum. So thank you so much for that. And then one thing I personally liked is the way you explained how one needs to be very flexible, very solution oriented, very, very spontaneous, always having backup plans, plan B, plan C, plan D, especially when you told us about the Science City incident. So, I mean, these are very essential things what students must have in their minds if they want to make a career in this industry. So, and the mentality of reaching out to your client, which is a part and parcel of the industry. So, ma'am, thanks a lot for this. And once again, I apologize because we have to wrap up this session. And
No problem.
I'm sure, we will, in the future, we'll get chance to listen to you once again. So now I
But
shall
anyway,
request.
if any student has a question, they can always give it to you. You can write it to me. I'll be glad to reply to them.
There was a question from the end of one of our students. She
Yeah.
was asking that what kind of problems we can face in the post-COVID, in the post-COVID phase when we are planning for incentive tours. And I think you have given us a very nice example wherein a group of 1,400 people were there to be managed, that too in a very, in a location which is not that frequented by Indians. So I think that was one, very good example that you talked about, and the usage of an app in such an event. So, ma'am, thanks a lot. Now I shall request respected Professor Siddharth Nanda, sir, our HOI, to kindly deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Professor Vandita. Thank you, ma'am. It was indeed enlightening, and the views that you have shared out of so many points that Professor Vandita was highlighting just now. One of the things which I really liked and appreciated, and which I personally felt it is true, is to be humble. The
Right.
growth that you had, the hard work that you did, and the students need to learn the reality. Everything doesn't happen just like that. just by fluke or just by luck. Hard work is one of the key parameters, and you have really shown that through your hard work. And apart from that, I also just noticed one more thing, that how punctual one needs to be, how systematic and disciplined one needs to do to be in their life to be successful. And you are one of the examples in front of us, and I'm sure we all are inspired by you, including me. We hope we had more
Thank
time
you so
with you
much.
for this session, ma'am. And on behalf of Amity Institute of Travel and Tourism, Amity University, Kolkata, we're really thankful to you for taking today's session. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Siddharth sir.
Thank
Thank you
you
so
so
much,
much,
Thank you.
Vandita.
ma'am.
It was pleasure having everyone. Thank you, all the students.
Thank you.
Wish you a great future ahead. Any questions? Please write. Feel free to write to me.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.